Hey everybody, White Darkness 740 here, bringing you part 6 of Let's Play Rockman 7FC. In the last part, we defeated Wolverine, mean Slash Man. And this part, we're gonna take on Edward, mean Shade Man. Alright, here we go, Shade Man stage, sorry about that. And in this stage, I have done some editing in this stage. In the original well, before I edited this game, and in the Super Nintendo version of this game, the whole entire stage, including like these blocks right here, or these pillars, they used to have a little shade of purple. You know, instead of like a grayish kind of, you know, feel to it. It used to be a little bit more purplish, maybe a little bit of pink, but mostly purple. I have edited so that way it looks much more grim and darker, or just gray if you want to be more technical. And I think I like it this way. I like what I did with this place. It makes it look much more like a freaking castle. I mean, how many castles have you seen that are purple? Not many. Not to mention, it makes me get the feeling that I'm playing like a Castlevania. Instead of a Ghosts and Goblins kind of stage, it makes me feel like I'm playing a Castlevania stage. You know, with all these chains and such. Anyways, as you can see here, I also added some blood effects, seeing as, well, he is a vampire. I mean, people must die at least once in this castle. As you can see, there's a little bit... I put a little bit of blood on those spikes up there. You know, giving the illusion of how maybe this thing raised so far up that it crushed somebody. The only problem is, where'd the skeleton go? I guess we'll never find out. Anyways. So, we just get through this. It's not really this tough. This stage is not that tough, but we'll have to come back here for something else. Anyways, here's our second mini-boss, which is... a giant mechanical pumpkin. Of course! Nah, not really. Okay, it is a giant mechanical pumpkin, but it's not really, of course. Anyways, there are two ways you can defeat this pumpkin, and depending on which way you defeat him, it, you know, predicts which way you're gonna go. There's two paths you can take, but it depends on how you defeat him. The first way is that if you shoot it from the core, which is basically when it opens up when it ends on the other side, like right there. You can shoot in the inside, but there's one other path you can take, and not many people know about this. Another path you can take is that if you shoot it in the eyes. Now, the problem with this is that the one on the outside, which is the eyes, has a very small hitbox, making it much more difficult to hit, especially with little shots. Unlike the core of it, where it's much more easier to hit. Now, I'm gonna try to take out the outside of it instead, so we can get the right path instead of the bottom path. So that way I don't have to give away most of the stage when we have to come back here. So it's only one round trip instead of having to, you know, end up having to take the same path. The best thing I say to do is to use charge shots, because seeing as the charge shots can take a lot of, it's very big. It can, you know, take care of that pesky little hitbox that thing has, and it gives much more damage, making it much more quick move. I say it makes the fight against them when you're shooting the outside of it basically the same length of how it takes to shoot the inside of it. Alright, so we defeated it, and it slides over to the right and breaks down that wall. And now we're able to go through it. Alright, we got some more robo-zombies. Not really that difficult. If only we had a whip, maybe we could defeat them even quicker. Alright, yeah, I don't need that energy. I'm not that, I don't need it that much. I hate those nights where, you know, if you try to jump over them, they just stop and turn around. So it makes it so they know that you're gonna try to go around them. Alright, here, not many people know that you can use a Tango Jet to get that one up instead of having to climb all the way up there and then jumping off. Now, let's take on this knight. In the original version of this, these knights, and in the Super Nintendo, these knights were orange instead of black and gray. I have changed their color because it makes them look more like deadly knights. Especially when you're in a castle, I don't think you see I don't think you mostly see any orange knights. I think you mostly see either, like, gray-suited knights. Sorry about that. Just finished eating. Here we have some wolves or wolverines. As you can see, when the moon disappears, then they turn back into knights, which they're much more weaker when they're knights, so I really recommend you wait for them to turn back, unless you want to just start spamming the fire button. You can see that there's a little bit of blue behind these bat fences. I tried editing it out, but I don't know. For some reason, it doesn't. Even when I make it the same color as the background, it for some reason doesn't go with it. So, I left it as the same, so I don't have to worry about it. Alright, in the original Super Nintendo version, you have an item that's not in this game, which is the Rush Search. And where it's basically where Rush teleports in and starts sniffing the ground to see if there's any items hidden underneath the ground. Right here, under this Wily portrait, you should get the Energy Bouncer when you use it. Unfortunately, the Energy Bouncer has been moved to a different stage, so we won't be seeing it for a little while. And right here, we have this little hallway where Base is supposed to be, defeated and damaged from Shade Man. There is a sprite for that kind of scenario where it has Base, crouching down like he's damaged. But for some reason, they removed it from the game. I don't know why. Maybe the same reason why they removed the intro stage and the Robot Master stage, because they think it wouldn't really be in the NES NES Mega Man game. Anyways, here we go with Shade Man. Look at that, what a gentleman. Bowing down to you before giving you a bow before the fight starts. Alright, there's two weaknesses to Shade Man. The one way is to use the Super Adapter. The other way is using the Wild Coil that you get from Spring Man. Now, Shade Man's attacks are these. I'll tell the ground moves first. His first attack is using a whitish beam, which if it touches you, it freezes you in place. His Noise Crush, which basically bounces off which he shoots across the room, if it bounces back at him, it will allow him to power up and shoot a much more bigger shot. The second attack he has is basically diving down at you, and if he catches you, he sucks out your energy and recovers himself with your energy, which you really don't want when you're almost close to defeating him and you only have a little bit of energy left. Now, the reason why I recommend the Super Adapter is for two reasons. One, you're able to jump over him much more better than having to slide under him. And two, you can use the Super Arm if you have the upgrade Super Arm when you go to Turbo Man stage and get the item, you can basically damage him while he's in the air, which makes it much more easier to land hits on him and make the fight much more faster. So basically, if you don't have it, you're gonna have to wait until he gets back on the ground, or unless you hit him when he's going back up after a dive. Sometimes he goes across the room and tries to dive into you twice, but most rare times he'll only do it once. Which it doesn't really make it much more easier or much more difficult. It just makes it different. It might catch you off guard when you're trying to get ready to jump over him, but he just instead only takes one dive. But I don't know, it doesn't really affect me in any way. Alright, a couple more shots, and then we had defeated Shade Man. We have became Simon Belmont. Alright, now to get our new weapon, which basically is one of those, times where your weapon that you get from a Robot Master is basically exactly what the Robot Master has. The Crush Noise basically bounces, if you shoot it and it bounces off walls and reflects back onto you, it charges up and shoots a much more bigger shot. It does do more damage, but I don't know if it's able to withstand itself against many enemies in a row. Like for instance, the bird enemies from Cloudman stage where they're lining up. I don't know if a fully charged shot will kill all of them in one shot. I think it will only take down the first bird and, you know, let the rest of them live. Alright, so there's your password, and let's finish off. Alright. So, if you like this part, subscribe to my videos, white little button, give me a good thumbs up review down below this video, and check out my other parts if you like this one. In the next part, we're taking on Speed Racer, Turbo Man himself. See you guys next time.